Episode 4068, Hand Over the Hard Things.
Moms, it's time to rediscover, rejuvenate, and renew who you are in mind, body, and spirit. Welcome to Create Your Now, Your Best Selfie, the show to help you do just that. Here's your host, certified life coach, personal trainer, and nutritionist, Christiane Wargo.
Happy day. Are you ready for an extraordinary one? Oh, come on, it's hump day. I haven't done that in a while. It's just kind of fun to say. And I know I'm not the original to it. No, it came from an old, actually, did it come from a commercial or was it a TV show? Well, we'll leave that for another episode. Hand over the hard things. For those of you who are brand new to Create Your Now, welcome to this incredible family. I'm so delighted of your presence. If you already even had the opportunity, you want to head on over to createyournow.com where you can learn more and sign up for the Kisses newsletter. The Keep It Simple strategy, everyday solutions to live, love, and impact. This episode is brought to you by AIM, Inspiring Connection and Community. Well, I hope I put a little bit of a smile on your face here right off the bat because you know what? We just like to have fun. You never know what's going to happen at Create Your Now. Every single day we're here. We have fun. We live life. We do life together, knowing that you know what? God's got us ultimately. He does. And we don't have to do life alone. But I would ask you this question. How many of your days slip by, weighed down by the burden of trying to do it all alone? You try to do more, be more, fix more. You push your own limits until your energy is spent carrying everyone else's load. My friend, life isn't meant for you to be the hero in every story, every single day. The endless expectations, the silent assumptions, and the mounting to-do list, they all can bury you faster than you can breathe. So why not hand over the hard things? I mean, think about this. What if, instead of tightening your grip, you made a deliberate choice to hand over those hard things? Not in surrender, not in defeat, but in a bold, clear-eyed decision to look up, to reach up. Because we know about life's challenges, right? I call it life's CRAP, right? Life's crap. Shh, did I say that out loud? The challenges, rejections, adversities, problems, all of it. It's CRAP. They all have a sneaky way of pulling us into isolation. They make us feel abandoned, alone, afraid, not enough, or even left behind. The truth is, if you spend your life leading from behind, you're going to miss what's right in front of you. Stop overwhelming yourself. Stop overdoing it. Stop overplaying the days. Hand over the hard things. That is your Kiss to Keep It Simple strategy. We just got to get to the nitty-gritty. Hand over those hard things. You get to decide how you show up in your everyday. You get to say no. You get to say yes to what matters in your everyday. You get to hand over the hard things. And maybe you're thinking, I can't do it. I know. I'm doing it right now. I get it. It's hard. And sometimes I think, okay, I'm putting it out there. Sometimes I think we hold it as if we want that badge of honor. And not because we're trying to make ourselves better than or put ourselves on a pedestal. I honestly do not think we are trying to do that at all. I think it comes from a very innocent mindset where you want to give and give because you really feel like that's what you're supposed to do. Well, let me tell you this, there's nothing wrong with that until you're overwhelmed, burned out, and you have nothing left to give. And pretty soon, it's not something that you can overcome because it can put you 6 feet under. And it's hard. I get it. When we've got the CRAP in life banging on our door, and most of the time, it's every day. We don't want to admit it, but it's hard. And to think that, oh gosh, it makes me feel good if I can. Because you do feel like the hero. You feel like you saved the day. And that puts a smile on your face and a little bit of joy in your heart when you turn around, you're like, oh, now look what I have to go back to, right? You're like, ugh. That's the reality. Great. I'm glad you acknowledge that reality. That's going to get you one step further and farther to where God wants you to go. But you got to figure out how to hand over these hard things. And what does it mean, especially when you're handing them over to God? How do you do it? How do you do it without losing control? How do you do it without giving up? Well, let's talk about it. Number 1, name it out loud. Stop hiding the hard things in your mind's dark corners. Speak them clearly. Speak them out in prayer while you journal or to someone you trust. Get it off your chest. When you name the struggle, you take the first step in handing it over. You're not just sharing your burden, you're inviting God into the mess you can't solve alone. Psalm 55 verse 22 says, cast your burden on the Lord and he will sustain you. He will never permit the righteous to be moved. Speaking your struggles out loud is like casting your burden onto God's shoulders. He promises to carry it, not abandon you. Leave it at the foot of the cross. Sometimes we got to let God take out the trash. And that trash is a CRAP. Because if you're sitting here worrying about stuff all the time, that's not going to get you anywhere. You can be concerned. That's a different mindset. But you can't worry. Because when you're doing that, you're holding it too close. You got to release. We've done this before, but take your hand. Squeeze your hand, right? Your fingers all the way into your palm as hard as you can. Yes, if you have long nails, feel those long nails into your palm. Just keep squeezing and squeezing. I just cut my nails, so I'm not feeling them as much. So I'm going to squeeze a little bit longer. Oh, dear, now it's getting a little bit bad. Keep going. Come on. Make it so tight that you feel like, oh, my goodness, Christiane, my fist is turning like white. Good. Keep going. Keep going. On the count of 3, I want you to open it up. 1, 2, 3. Do you feel that release? It's like, I can breathe again. Meaning your hand can, right? All of a sudden, you feel the blood gushing back to where it needs to be. But now I want you to look at your palm. Do you see the indentations in your palm? It's a good reminder that God gave us his son to die on the cross so he can be there with us. Let him take your hand. You don't have to carry it alone. So name it out loud. Number 2, choose to trust, not ignore. You know, handing over the hard things isn't about pretending they don't exist because we know they do. And that's why when we lay our head down on the pillow, we sit there and we kind of murmur in our minds like, oh, yeah, I've got to do this and I got to do that. And what about this? And how am I handle that? I don't know what to do. And it just kind of sounds like that, doesn't it? Because if we say it out loud, if your spouse is next to you, they're going to be like, quiet, quiet. I'm trying to sleep. But in your mind, you hear it, but it's that mumbleese that's happening. It's quiet, yet firm, yet very distinctive, yet blended. You see, when you hand over those hard things, it's not saying, no, they don't exist. It's about trusting that there is a plan, that God has a plan, even when the path looks unclear. And when that anxiety spikes or doubts creep in, remind yourself, you don't have to carry this alone. Trust that God is ready and willing to do life with you every day. No exceptions. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths. You got to trust him with everything. I'm talking about your grocery list. I'm talking about your finances, whether or not you're going to buy a new car or a new car to you. It doesn't have to be a brand new car. Whether or not you're going to sell your house and buy a new one or rent. Whether or not you're going to take a new job. Whether or not you're going to sit there and support your child and who they're dating, even though you're like, question mark, not sure. Trust. Trust in the Lord. And you got to remember this, trust isn't a passive hope. It's an active decision to relinquish control and rely on God's wisdom, even when the path isn't clear. So, you know, when you dump the trash, You leave your CRAP at the door. You put it at God's feet and you say, Lord, you got to take this. Now, I'm going to tell you this, you still got to do the work. Because you can't just sit there and say, gosh, Lord, I'd really like to win the Powerball so I don't have to go back to work. Wouldn't we all? But we don't get that. And most likely none of us will get that. There will be a select few. But that's by chance. And I'm going to say this, and don't send me the emails. That's not of God's choosing either. You got some people who have all the money in the world and they still win the Powerball. And you have other people who have no money in the world and then they win the Powerball. There's no right or wrong in that. It's just a happenstance. But you see, it doesn't become a happenstance because that person then walked in and had to make the decision to pay the money to get that. God uses everything for good for those who love him. Trust in the Lord. He's got it all figured out. I know. Because I've had to live through a lot of things in my life. Most recently, my oak tree. I've shared the story multiple times, but if you haven't heard, let me catch you up. It was at the end of April, the first week, basically, the first 10 days of celebrating our youngest son graduating from college. He had 5 events. We left that Monday to go to an event. We came back that next morning. Actually, it was a wake-up text that I received the information. But when we drove home, there lay the oak tree. It did massive damage to our home. Nothing structural. Praise the Lord for that. But stuff that has to still be repaired. Because over time, it can ruin the home, ruin the foundation. It can destruct things that, you don't want to happen. You've got to care for the place that you own. Who would have thought that an oak tree would rattle so many lives, change everything, literally on a wind called the perfect storm? I don't know why it happened, but I've had to come to realize that it's not my storm to carry. I got to go through it though. But God's coming with me. And I'm going to get to the other side of it. I don't know how long it's going to take me. I'm trying to push things through as much as I can, as fast as I can. I'm trying to be kind to the people who are trying to help me, even though I'm like, why do we have to have, the rules and regulations this way? It really doesn't help me. And if you've ever been through any form of a home claim, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But I still have to trust in the Lord. Me worrying about it, me trying to figure out how to put all the pieces of the puzzle together, knowing that when I get that all done, I still have to get back on track to where we were headed. But now I have this huge empty space, a void. A path that now is really clear because the oak tree. But a path that I didn't see. But God already did. And so I rely on him. And I give up so I can look up. What is it for you? How do you choose to trust and not ignore? God's got you if you let him. Because that's the thing. We have to be a willing participant. He's not going to force it on us. Sometimes he does leave breadcrumbs for us, though. But if we don't catch him, if we don't find him, if we're not looking for them, we'll pass him up. Why? Because we're busy. We see other things. We're worrying. We're chasing the wrong things. Make an active decision to relinquish control and rely on God's wisdom. Dig deeper. Right? That's what Wellspring Wednesday is all about. Is to dig deeper. To know that what God's doing isn't just about this surface level stuff. I mean, yeah, there's dust. You got to go get your dusting cloth. That's fine. There's something more, though. What is it? Finally, number 3, act in small steps of faith. Letting go doesn't mean freezing or running away. It means taking one deliberate action in faith. It could be setting a boundary, asking for help, or simply pressing pause to breathe and pray. These small acts are powerful. They're the practical ways you hand over the hard things without losing your grip on what matters. 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 7 says, "For we walk by faith, not by sight." Handing over hard things includes stepping forward with faith, even when you can't see the whole road ahead. Small steps rooted in trust change everything. What are you doing in your life to saying, okay, Lord, I know you got me. You really, really, really do. And you might be on the edge of glory, but God's on the outside of that. He's going to make sure you don't fall off. Act in small steps of faith. Walk by faith, not by sight. Because this is what all boils down to. Your journey is not meant to be a solo act. God doesn't want you to live life carrying the weight by yourself. He wants to dance with you every day as a duet, to walk with you through every challenge, every doubt, and every hard day, through the chaos, through the calm, through the storm. But you've got to be willing. So let me ask you, what hard things are you holding on to today? What do you have a grip on so hard that it's leaving marks in your palm? I don't know about you, but if you were to look at your palm, do you still see your nail marks? I do. Whew. Got a strong hand grip there, I guess. I can still see mine just distinctively. I think there's 3.5 I can see right now. The others are coming back. That's how hard I was gripping. If you can't see yours, try that again. The hard grip as hard as you can. What are you holding on to? What are you afraid of letting go? Because you won't be in control. Now, let me say this, because I know people are like, well, Christiane, I still have to do my stuff. Like, I still have to do things here on earth. I get that. You're not sitting down in your lazy boy recliner with your little butt imprint going, I'm going to wait for God to take care of everything. No, I'm not talking that way. You're smarter than that. You're still going to have to do the work. But the work that you have to do is not going to be decided just by you. You and God can do it together. And if you're like, Christiane, I can't hear his voice always. Have you turned off the noise? Have you quieted yourself? And not just one time, a lot of times. The more you do it, the more you know that, okay, that's not me. That's God talking there. And if you're not sure, say, Lord, I really need you to show me that this is really you. But let me tell you this, you got to be looking for it. Because you'll miss things. You will. God doesn't show up like he did to Moses with a burning bush. I mean, I could sit here and tell you stories and stories that I think could fit into my fallen oak tree as to why that oak tree fell. What I know is that it's literally and figuratively has become a thorn in my side. It physically put me in a position that I could not see my house. I could not get to my house. And God said, I got you. I was like, okay, Lord, not sure how this is going to work, how it's going to go down. When I laid eyes first on that oak tree, and let me tell you, unless if you've really seen it happen, and oddly enough, my brother and my mother just also lost a tree yesterday in another storm. That's 3, we're done. Right? They say things come in 3. I'm like, that's done. We're done. We had 3 trees fall in our family. We're done. No more. Odd. Some people would say, oh, well, that's just coincidental. Well, Let's look a little bit deeper. You see, that's the problem. We chalk everything up to coincidence or happenstance, right? Go back to the Powerball. It's not happenstance that you win the Powerball. You have to buy the ticket to win the Powerball. So that means that requires you to go do something right now. I'm not encouraging you, by the way, to go gamble. Please don't hear me. What I'm telling you is God is going to work it all out for his glory, his way. It may not look like you want it to look, but that's why you got to talk to him more. That's why you got to get on your knees. That's why you got to dig deeper and say, okay, Lord, this life, I've just kind of been coasting. Maybe you've coasted half of your life away already. Maybe you're getting close to that, 50-yard line. Okay, we'll call it that because it'll make us all feel younger. We'll say it that way. The 50-yard line. Yes, we're there. And now you're thinking, wow, it's all downhill from here. Is it? Does it have to be? Do you know how many amazing things happen as you get into your 40s and 50s and 60s? There's a lot of people who say, I changed the world. I started a business. Ask Oprah. Ask Joyce Meyer. I can name a lot of other people, but those are the two that immediately come to mind. It didn't happen when they were 10 years old. It didn't happen when they were 22 years old. It happened when they had more wisdom. What is it in your life right now that you're holding on to that's leaving marks in the palm of your hand? What can you realistically let go of right now and give it to God? Now, that doesn't mean that you may not have to do some work. You probably are going to have to, even if you let go of it. I'm dealing with the oak tree. Guess what? I got to deal with what? Insurance. I got to deal with contractors. I got to deal with multiple businesses, the landscaper, the sprinklers, the electrical. Like, it's a lot of things that I have to go through. The roofers, the driveway concrete makers, right? All of this. And I share with you not to say, oh, woe's me. No. It's to say, you know what? God's got this. I have no idea what this means. But what I know is that I'm not doing it by myself. What can you let go of? Maybe it's the need to control the outcome. That badge of honor that kind of makes you feel like I am really doing something because you feel like you're failing at other things when honestly you probably aren't. You're just your worst critic right now. Maybe it's the pressure to have all the answers or the belief that you have to prove your worth every moment. Is that you? Are you one who's asking the question or really living the life that says, if I'm not doing, I'm not worth it? If I don't have so many things accomplished or checked off on my to-do list, means I'm not worth it? Really? If you don't do another thing in your life, you're already worth it. Because God sent his son to die on the cross, Jesus, so that you could have eternal life. Don't tell yourself a different story. You see, we need to dig deeper. You're made for more. So you can create your now every day God's way. Not because you think you have it all put together, because God already knows the outcome. Let him lead. And when you do that, handing over the hard things isn't weakness. It's wisdom. It's courage in motion. My friend, I want to encourage you. Look up. Reach out. Let God carry what you can't. You don't have to go it alone. It's time for your duet. Go in peace. Be present. Be incredible. Be you. I love you so very much. I cannot wait to see you on the other side. Blessings, hugs, and lots and lots of love. We'll talk to you real soon. Have a glorious, blessed day. Bye-bye.
Feeling inspired, ready to train for life and love your journey? Visit createyournow.com for more incredible resources to help you along the way. We'll see you next time on Create Your Now, Your Best Selfie. And remember, always be sure you consult your physician before beginning any health and fitness plan.